Just imagine a man in the entire world left alone with just one kangaroo. Something like this happens in our story today. At the beginning of the story, a man named Yua was traveling to the moon in a rocket. But during this time, a huge asteroid named Pi was heading towards Earth. It was even larger than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. To avoid this, humans devised a plan. The space station on the moon, which Yua was traveling in, was also built for this purpose. It contained many dangerous, modern weapons that would destroy the asteroid and pull its debris away from Earth, using the moon's gravity. After 8 years of continuous hard work, humans finally succeeded in this mission. Now, having completed their task, Yua and all his companions were ready to return to Earth, but before returning, Yua wanted to confess his love to his commander. To prepare for this, he went to his room, put on some music on his headphones, and began writing letters one by one. Just then, an astronaut named Shu panicked and informed the commander that something had gone wrong with their weapons. At the last minute, all the debris from the Pi asteroid was about to fall on the moon within the next half hour. Upon receiving this news, the commander immediately ordered the evacuation of the space station. Everyone ran at full speed to their rockets. However, Yua, still busy writing his love letter, didn't hear any warning alarms because of the headphones in his ears. A few minutes later, he spotted the first rocket and ran at full speed toward the base station. At that moment, there were 6 more rockets present, which gave Yua some relief. But then, suddenly, 5 rockets exploded. They flew together, leaving Yua with only one last rocket. He made several unsuccessful attempts to contact his team, but seeing no other option, he accelerated his rover to full speed. Just then, a huge crater appeared in his path, and his rover fell straight into it. By the time he could get out of the crater, the last rocket had also flown away. Asteroid debris had already begun falling on the area. To escape, Yua decided to hide in another crater. But some of the debris landed directly on the crater, causing him to lose consciousness for a while. When he regained consciousness, he believed that finding him from Earth wouldn't be too difficult. But then a huge asteroid collided directly with the Earth, devastating the entire planet. For the next 6 months, Yua continued to try to contact Earth, and he still does. Failing to succeed, he accepted his fate. Fortunately, he had enough food and water to last the rest of his life. After paying tribute to all the fallen soldiers, Yua decided to fulfill all his wishes. The first of which was to spend some time in Commander Jinx's room, but he didn't know the password to Jinx's room. His second wish was to surf on the moon's surface. Initially, he failed terribly, but after trying for several days, he managed to surf, but he still couldn't find the password to Jinx's room. In a fit of rage, he blew up the door. Afterward, he decided to go on a date with a picture of Jinx, during which he accidentally spilled ketchup on Jinx's face. He took advantage of this opportunity to kiss Jinx's photo, unaware that at that moment, the entire team was watching him from their new headquarters. And seeing this, everyone turned their backs. Jinx, on the other hand, was completely shocked. Due to network outages, they could only see Yua at the time. And since Yua didn't seem to be in any serious trouble, Jinx decided to cancel Yua's rescue mission. Chairman Jing then told him that the government had decided to showcase Yua's new life to the world over the next 30 days. In fact, after the asteroid hit Earth, 30 miles of land had been submerged, completely changing everyone's lives. Now, the government wanted to instill hope in people through Yua. Look, this man is stranded alone. Yet he's still living. But astronaut Shu didn't consider Yua capable of this task, to which Jing told him that they were not sure about Yua's life. They were going to dub the voice and present it to the world, so that they could make it speak things at will. After this, Jing presented a false story about Yua to the world via radio, according to which he gave up his seat in the rocket to save the crew members. Jing also told the world about Yua's new life by broadcasting it. Meanwhile, after 196 days had passed, one day Yua went to the warehouse to get some medicine. At headquarters, a voiceover artist named Flutist was called to dub Yua's voice, but he was not given any script. This time, when Yua arrived at the warehouse, he noticed a new and unfamiliar object. He initially thought it was a girl and started talking to her. But as he approached, he saw that it was a strong kangaroo. At that very moment, when the live stream was started, the camera focused directly on the kangaroo's face. Hair went on, and unaware of everything. The flutist also began dubbing after the kangaroo's lips. Jing tried to stop the flutist, but by then it was too much and many people had seen it. Because of their mistake, Jing and Shu had to appear before the chairman where they explained that their research team had left a kangaroo named Kong at the base station. Meanwhile, Flutist was not a real voiceover artist, but a social media influencer who did voiceovers for various things. Or this mistake, Jing decided that instead of dubbing the video, they would narrate it as a story. Meanwhile, Yua disguised himself as a female kangaroo to lure Kong to the spaceship. But as soon as Kong learned of his true identity, he began beating Yua, which Flutist saw. He burst into laughter. Jing then took the blame for everything. Then he received other news. A fighting match was about to take place between Kang and Yua on the spaceship. Everyone was intently watching the match. But then Kang, demonstrating his strength, stomped Yua, knocking him unconscious. Seeing his condition, Jing tried to talk to Yua, and when he regained consciousness and saw lines on the communication channel, he began to cry with joy. Despite not being able to hear anyone, he was happy that people were still alive on Earth. After reaching a compromise, they both decided to board their rover and go to the wrecked Apollo 18 so they could use it to reach the lunar station. However, there was a rocket available to take them back to Earth. Meanwhile, Yua devoted all his energy to finding the lunar dog. After this, Yua devoted his full attention to rebuilding the spacecraft, much to everyone's surprise. When Jing checked his file, he discovered that he was actually a flight dynamics engineer, currently working in the maintenance department. On his 282nd day, Yua explained that due to their broken engine, their rover had a weight limit, forcing them to leave Kang behind and proceed. However, Kang nevertheless forcibly brought him back to base. But then Yua remembered that they could use a weapon present there as a prototype engine, but this was extremely dangerous. Despite this, Kang was willing to cooperate. Hearing this, astronaut Shu told the entire team that it was possible, but bringing it back to base before sunset would be extremely difficult because the prototype engine ran on solar power and the moon was not visible. Even if Yua kept driving continuously, despite one day being equivalent to 14 Earth days, he still wouldn't be able to reach it. Everyone believed this couldn't be accomplished, but as the sun set, Yua started driving in the opposite direction. He couldn't go out in sunlight because it gets so cold on the moon when the sun sets that it would kill him. Seeing this, Jing realized that Yua was going to chase the sun relentlessly so that he would have a full 14 days. But by the 28th day, Kang and Yua were completely exhausted, so they tied each other with a rope. After driving continuously for several days, they finally reached the engine. Upon reaching there, Kang started repeatedly pressing a button. But luckily it wasn't a random button. It was simply the engine check button. Because of his dangerous actions, Yua cut him off. After locking him inside, they both set off back for their base. But on the way, Kang's cog became detached from the engine. By the time Yua realized this, a lot of time had passed. He knew that if he went back to get Kang, he might lose the sunlight. He decided to leave Kang behind and move on. Everyone was quite surprised by his actions. But after a few minutes, he turned back at full speed towards Kang. After walking for a while, he finally reached Kang. But now, after all the calculations, everyone believed that they would not be able to return in time. So Jing ordered everyone to find the lunar dog as quickly as possible so that with its battery, Yua could return to his base. Both Yua and Kang were extremely tired from driving continuously without sleep for so long. But then, due to the sun setting, they only had 5 hours of battery life left. Suddenly, the lunar dog activated, but because it was in power-saving mode, it couldn't find them. 55 kilometers from the base, the cabin had run out of battery power, forcing Yua and Kang to leave the ship. Astronaut J took control of the lunar dog and decided to take it to Yua. On the way, the lunar dog ran out of battery power and fell into a huge crater, much to the dismay of everyone on Earth, while Yue and Kang were talking while looking at the stars. Yua was lost in memories once again. A short while later, when he regained consciousness, he saw Kang running around chasing a reflection in a mirror. This gave Yua an idea, and he strapped a sled to Kang's back. Later, his surfing practice came in handy. Now they were moving forward very quickly, but suddenly they encountered a huge hole that they had to cross. He cleverly used nitrogen tanks to achieve this. Seeing his success, everyone on Earth was overjoyed and a new hope was awakened in them all. Meanwhile, due to his bravery, Yua received many honors on Earth. The chairman himself went to receive them. Then Jing informed the chairman that the communication lines were going to be repaired in the next 3 months, after which they could contact Yua. Gradually, things were getting back to normal, but no one knew that a large portion of the asteroid was still posing a threat waiting for them. Meanwhile, Yue and Kang were playing together when Kang accidentally touched some wires, after which Yua saw signals on the screen just like last time. Seeing this, Yua felt that perhaps no one on Earth was left alive and that perhaps Kang had tampered with the wires in a similar way before, and that's when the signals appeared. Seeing this, Yua became deeply saddened. Meanwhile, Jing put all his efforts into repairing the communication lines. A few days later, Yua made a toy female kangaroo for Kang and left the ship to end things himself. Yua was now deeply distraught, so Jing told the world exactly what Yua was feeling and asked everyone to help him, asking them to point their phone flashlights toward the moon. Just as Yua was about to open his helmet away from the ship, he noticed a light coming from Earth, and upon seeing it, he fell to his knees and began to cry. A little while later, when Yua returned to base and turned on the communication button, he finally heard all his comrades. They told him about his live streaming on Earth. But despite this, Yue was unable to speak. So everyone made Jinx stand in front of him. And when she said hello, he was overjoyed. For the next few days, all the engineers helped Yue repair his spacecraft. But he was only happy when he saw Jinx. Finally, one night after the spacecraft was ready, Yue got a chance to talk to Jinx alone. He told Jinx that he had joined the maintenance department solely because of her. He wasn't ready to work in the department at first, but then he saw Jinx passing by and he fell in love with her. Now, he had decided if he had to live with this pain on the moon, he would. After that, he agreed to do even a small job in the maintenance department. Hearing this, Jinx also told him that that day while boarding the rocket, she had seen Yua running and unfortunately she couldn't wait for him. At that time, their conversation ended. Because of this, no one noticed the asteroid heading towards Earth. The next day, Kang and Yua were fully prepared to return home, and with the help of their team, they finally launched the spacecraft safely, much to everyone's delight. Yua and Kang had finally reached the space station after spending 923 days on the moon. Just then, Shu called an urgent meeting and informed everyone about the large chunk of pie that was rapidly approaching them. The chairman believed that only one man could save them from this danger because his ship's engine was a weapon in itself. That man was none other than Yua. Upon hearing this, Jing went to the control room and turned off the live stream, which surprised everyone. But before she could talk to Yua, he had already known about the danger. In fact, he had heard everything through his headphones. And now he knew that because the missiles lacked engines, he would have to personally launch them against the asteroid. He would also have to return to his spacecraft before the missiles activated. His chances of surviving this mission were extremely slim. But despite this, Yua agreed to undertake the task because he knew that the responsibility of saving Earth now rested on his shoulders. He also told Jinx that if he died, she should find someone else for herself, because he did not want to see her living a sad life alone. As soon as Yua agreed, everyone on Earth was ordered to go to the underground bunkers. After this, Yua first tied Kang to his seat so that he could reach Earth safely, but Kang wanted to stay with his friend. As soon as they separated, Yua encountered a number of boulders, and upon hitting one of them, his spacecraft began to spin in circles. To stop it, Yua detached one of his compartments from the craft. The missiles were intact, but their engines had now been damaged. Then Jinx told him that the part of Pi was about to pass close to him and that she didn't want to sacrifice Yua under any circumstances. Upon hearing this, Yua told her that she should just focus on saving Earth. He turned his ship toward the asteroid and asked her to start the live stream. After detaching the missiles, he thanked everyone for their support. He also told everyone that he always thought that either those in front would die or those in the back would be safer, working in the middle. But today he was standing between Earth and the asteroid. Then, singing Jinx's favorite song, he took off at full speed. It began moving towards the asteroid, and everyone, including Jinx, was crying. As soon as it reached the asteroid, he tried unsuccessfully to press the missile button. His mind focused only on the moments he had spent with Jinx, but then Yua reminded himself of his responsibility and urged himself to press the button. A few seconds later, a huge explosion occurred and the asteroid shattered into tiny pieces. These tiny pieces looked like stars striking the Earth, which Kang, along with millions of others, could see. Just then, a boy in the crowd told his younger sister that they would be able to return home today only because of MovieExplained. The next 10 years, due to everyone's hard work, the Earth had been restored. Just then, Lucy, the new chairman of the space program, announced to everyone that humans were going to the moon once again, and Jinx was also preparing to go to the moon once again. She was ready, whereupon arriving, she could see the moments she had recounted on the moon, bringing tears of joy to her eyes. Afterward, while looking at Earth with a friend, she explained that the debris from the asteroid that exploded 10 years ago was now orbiting Earth in a ring which would forever remind them of Moon Man. If you get the chance, would you ever want to go beyond Earth? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.